Okay, so in this video, I'm going to show you how you can allocate assets to entities. So there's a couple ways you can do this. The first way is by doing it visually on the diagram. So we've got this diagram for the Mercer family here, and I want to allocate an asset to this bare trust down here. We've got some sort of LRBA situation. So if I go to the New tab on this left-hand side, I can see that there's all of the different entities that I can drag onto the diagram. But down here, I've also got the ability to drag on assets and liabilities. So I'll just drag on an asset. So then I can give the asset a name. And over here on the right-hand side, I can select the asset type, give it a value, and also select the ownership method. So I'll select the asset type to be commercial property. You can see that we've got a range of asset types to select from. And if I hit commercial property and then save, we can see that that asset now has this commercial property icon. Whereas if I were to change the asset type to say a farming property, we can see that the icon changes there. So it's quite visual, and you can easily distinguish between the different asset types on the diagram. Cool. So once I've created that property, I can then draw a relationship from the entity to the asset, and that relationship type in this case is going to be owner of. So I can put in an acquisition date if I want to, otherwise I can just hit create, and now we can see that this trust owns 100% of this asset. Cool. So that's the first way to do it. So if I go over to this trust now, this property trust, we can see in the assets and liabilities section that this property trust has this asset allocated to it. So anything that we do on the diagram gets turned into structured data in these pages here on the left as well. So now I'm going to go to the individuals page, and I'm going to create the family home for the Mercer family and allocate it to both Robert and his wife. So I can go down to the assets and liabilities section for Robert, go click asset, and then I have this form which is similar to the form, or it's exactly the same as the form on the diagram. So I can select an asset type. I'll go residential property. I'll call it the family home. And this time it's going to be joint tenants, the ownership method. So number of owners 2, it will be Robert and his wife. Each owner will hold 50% of the asset. That's correct. And then I can also just give it a value. So I didn't do that on the other one, but there it is. And then I just hit create. So now for Robert, we can see that he owns, or his share in this asset, this family home, is $1.5 million because he has 50% of that asset. Now I can go to Sandra, and then I can go and allocate that same asset to her. This time I don't need to create the new asset. I can just select the family home, and it will just give me an overview of what it will do. So she's going to own this family home jointly with Robert, and her share is going to be 50%. So then I just hit create. So now we can see that both Robert and Sandra own this family home. And if I go to the diagram, we can see that that property is now there. So it's very clear what the ownership is of that property. And if I go to this assets and liabilities register here on the left, I get an overview of the assets and liabilities for this group. So we can see the asset balance, liability balance, and the net position, and also an overview of those assets and what the method of ownership is, the share, the value. I can also create assets in here by selecting an entity and then either creating or choosing an asset, similar to how we just did it on those individual entity pages.